Hello guys, my name is Rafael Ebikefe and I'm a life coach and a business strategist. Last month we started our business series where I talked about how to start a business. I also talked about how to write a business plan and I talked about how to be successful. So if you've not seen those videos, you could go to my YouTube channel and watch those videos. Now, in this month of July, we are starting our dating and relationship series. So as we all know, marriages are being challenged these days and the divorce rate is on an all-time high. So it's very important that we get into the relationships with the right mindset and get into them appropriately so that we can be able to have a good marriage, because it's a good relationship that translates into a good marriage. And most people think the first step, in the dating world is to get a partner. No, the first step in the dating world is to know yourself. And so in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you why you need to get to know yourself before you start dating. When we love someone, we will learn all the little details about this person that sometimes we even forget to, peep into our own self. So it's very important that the same amount of time we take in knowing, our significant other, we also have to employ that same amount of time to know ourselves better. A great philosopher, Aristotle, once said, knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. So it's important to know yourself. Now, in knowing yourself, you'll be able to know the kind of partner that you should be looking out for. And it's also good to come into a relationship as a whole and well-rounded person that can be able to contribute to the health of the relationship. And there are things you need to know about yourself, like how best do you communicate? What are your weaknesses? How do you handle finance? What are your core values? Answering these questions, gives you a better idea of yourself. So, and the scripture says in Psalm 11 verse 3 that when the foundations are destroyed, what can the righteous do? So the first step is from the foundation, knowing yourself, because it starts with you. And so the first step we'll be looking at is what to do, what you're looking for in your partner, what you're looking for in your partner, what you're looking for. That's the first step. The first step is knowing, what you're looking for in the relationship you're about to get into. So list out the traits of what you will be looking out for in your partner, and by doing that, it will guide you on, discovering the right partner for yourself. The next step that we'll be looking at is what are your deal breakers. So listen out your deal breakers. If you have any, it's very, very important. So can you date a smoker? Ask yourself that question. Can you date an alcoholic? How would you handle cheating? Can you date a temperamental person? So these are questions you need to ask yourself, before you go into a relationship, because if you don't ask yourself these questions, you might find that you'll be compromising what you actually want and need in the relationship. Now, the next step we'll be looking at is what is your attachment style. So there are several types of attachment styles. Most people like being avoidant, they like their space, while most people, they're the clingy type, they want to always see you around. Some people like to see their partners once every week. Some people like to see their partners every day. Some people like to see their partner once every month. So you have to check which one is best for you, and it's going to guide you on the kind of partner you should be looking out for. The next step we'll look at is if you're ready for a relationship. As we all know, there are two types of people: the people that have not started a relationship before, and the people that have just came out of a relationship. So if you've not started a relationship before, what you need to do is check yourself if you are ready to date. You don't just rush into it. You check yourself if you're ready to date, then you can go for it. The next type of people are those that just came out of a relationship. And it's not always advisable that when you come out of a relationship, you rush into another one again. Most people, they end the relationship today, tomorrow, they start another one. So that's where the problem lies. So you have to take out time, have a mental reflection on why the previous relationship did not work out. What were the issues? What were the troubles, the trials? So when you work out on these areas, it gives you a better understanding on where it failed, how it failed, and it's going to give you some lessons that you have to learn so that going forward you won't make those mistakes in your next relationship. The next step we're looking at is your level of self-worth. It's very important. Your level of self-worth, your self-esteem, and your self-confidence is very, very important before you go into a relationship. If you don't value yourself, you can't be in a healthy relationship. So it's very important to value yourself, and it's also good to take an inventory of the qualities you bring to the relationship, and know that you can contribute to the growth and maturity of a blooming romance. The next step we look at is what are your weaknesses. You know, everybody has a weakness. I have a weakness. You have a weakness. Everybody has a weakness. So it's very important to know what your weaknesses are so that you can be able to manage it or avoid it or work on it before you go into a relationship. An example, for instance, is how do you handle conflicts? So how your level of how you handle disagreements in a safe way is very important. How you handle disagreements. So it's you have to know your weaknesses and you have to know how you can work around it in your relationship. The next step we're looking at is whether you're an introvert or an extrovert. You know, most people are. Some people are. I mean, they're introverts, while some are extroverts. Like for me, I'm an ambivert. I'm in between. So I'm not. I'm either too much of an extrovert or I'm not too much of an introvert. I'm just in between. So it's good to know where you're falling. For introverts, they process things internally. You know, most part of it they keep to themselves. So and social settings tend to drain their energy. But for the extroverts, you know, they process externally, you know, and you know they communicate their thoughts a lot. They want to discuss what they're thinking or what's bothering them. So they are different. So it's also very important to know where you fall in. Are you an introvert? Are you an extrovert? Or are you an ambivert just like me? So it's good to know where you fall in, and it's going to help you, you know, in seeking your right partner. The next step also we're looking at is how you plan to spend money. It's very important. Money has been known to be one of the major issues in marriages and even in relationships. So how you spend money, you know, is very important. Do you want a partner that is the extravagant type? Nobody wants a stingy partner. So these are things you need to know. Someone that is comfortable in discussing money matters is also very important before you go out into the dating world. The next step we'll be looking at is if and when to compromise. You know, so you need to know what are your boundaries, you know, and what are your deal breakers. You know, and being in a relationship means you should be able to compromise sometimes. Not every time, but most times you should be able to compromise. It's very, very important. And if you're a person that can't compromise, then I don't think you're ready for a committed relationship. You should be able to compromise at some point or the other. Now, the next thing we're looking at is how you like your career to pan out. So, as you can see, for your career, it's good to know your career direction before you go into a relationship. Or alternatively, you can also run your career alongside with your relationship. They can go hand in hand, but it's always advisable to have your career panned out. You know what you're going out for before you go into a relationship. Now, the next step we look at is how to listen to your intuition. So your intuition is that inner voice within you that tells you this and that. So you don't just shut them out. You have to give them an audience when speaking. And when you're about to start into go into a new relationship, there's always this excitement and joy. So your intuition sometimes tells you things: when to close a certain door, when to open a certain door, when things are not actually working and stuff. You need to know via intuition. It's your inner wisdom, so don't neglect it. And it's very important. It's going to help you save time, money, and heartache. Last time we look at is what are your core values. It's very important. Nobody, you know, nobody's perfect. You know, we all have our ups and downs, but it's also good to focus on the positive side of your partner. You know, when going into a relationship, don't just stick only to the negative, but sometimes have an open mind and also look more into the positive side of this person. And I believe that if you go ahead and examine yourself, have a self-evaluation of yourself, you'll be able to answer these questions correctly, and these questions will guide you into that wonderful relationship that you've always dreamed of. I can tell you of the truth: love is real, it exists. So take out the time, don't dwell too much on negative stories. Be positive about your approach, and I believe that you start that relationship that will turn out to be a very huge success. With that being said, I would like you to subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you've not, share my video, like my videos, and click the post notification bell so that when the next video drops, you will be notified. And with that being said, I want to wish you a wonderful day and much love from me. Take care. Bye.